My wife's mother said my food was, I made poison and threw away every food I made. She switched my sons in secret one night. Taking asthma medicine at the hospital, she said, maybe you'll learn now. You're not ready to be a mom, I told her. While he slept, and then he made one phone call. That phone call changed everything. I'm 32 years old. This is where I live in Bloomington, Indiana. We have been married to Mark for 8 years and have a son, Tyler, who is now 6 years old. He has deep nuts, peanuts, tree nuts, and some food coloring. One time we almost lost him. I built my life around it because of it. I thought that marrying Mark would keep him safe, meant getting a life partner. I had no idea I was getting married during a war. Evelyn, Mark's mom, is named the War. Did not like me at all from the start. Try to hide it. The first time we met, she gave me that fake smile women use when they already know what they want to do. Look at me like I'm trying to be nice. I really tried. Did I learn to be nice and wait? I thought that if I told her I loved her, Mark, and took care of our family, she would come around. The first year, she didn't. Of marriage, she'd call all the time. Is Mark is eating enough? You know he likes his fold, her clothes in a certain way, sent me a list of ways to be a good wife, typed up like a twisted instructions she gave them. How? To make meatloaf that Mark doesn't like beef stew. When I found out I was pregnant, I thought being a grandmother would be a change, wouldn't make her soft, but it did, as if she were the one having the baby. She told me most of what to do every day, insulting you're getting fat too quickly. Aren't you taking vitamins with this thing you're not reading what to? I did, and my baby turned out fine. I should have seen what was everything that happened after Tyler was born turned into a race. She'd hold him, and he looks just like Mark. God, she picked apart everything, I said. He's not being burped right. Why are you giving him that when it's too cold? Company. And then there was the allergy telling me that changed everything for me, not her. We learned about it when Tyler had after 18 months, a small bite of we went to the ER because of a cookie at daycare. When my throat started to close up, I thought I was going to lose my baby. I was careful to clean every surface. I checked the labels on soaps like my life had to be hers. But it wasn't. She called it hysteria, said I was taking care of him in my today. We gave our kids peanut butter. I told her that wasn't how to do it off the spoon. It no longer works. He could die. She smirked. I guess he needs to get tougher. I asked Mark to help, and he did, but in a soft way. Be soft all the time. She means well. That old-fashioned girl is just being a little big drama. Instead, I saw her slowly push limits. She began sneaking him food. When I wasn't, I saw her trying to give him something. I took some chocolate out of her bag and asked, Did you read the recipes? She asked. Her eyes, I raised a child, remember? Now I'm going to raise mine, he said. You can mess around with his life. Mark, she told me I was being too tough on her. She tries, but she doesn't get it. She got it. She just didn't care. This past winter, Evelyn said her home was moldy and not safe to live in. She said had to find a place to stay for a short time. Weeks Mark begged me to take her somewhere. Else, please wait until she finds something I gave up. She moved into our guest room and everything went wrong. She said bad things about everything I did to clean my being a parent, cooking. Especially, she started throwing out meals she was making. It would take me an hour to make dinner, and she would throw it all away. It smelled awful when I turned my back on it. She said, I'm not going to let Mark eat this, one time. Poison? I snapped Tyler. It's safe food has. You already know that she smiled. It's not just the food that's bad for you, Knight, I cried. Not because of what she did, but because I didn't feel any power in my Mark, still didn't do anything at home. He'd say. Nothing changed after I said, I'll talk to her. Tyler asked his grandmother why she was acting so that she didn't like her mom's food. That almost broke me. so I learned the EpiPen refills were hidden in a locked closet. Made sure Tyler would only eat what I cooked and looked, but I couldn't. Be everywhere. One night, everything changed. Mark had taken Evelyn on a Saturday. While I was food shopping, I did laundry. Tyler played with his Legos in the living room. We did what we always did at 8 a.m. I gave him his allergic pill to chew. In the evening. Always the same brand and bottle from the locked trunk. But something happened that night. I opened the bottle and saw the pills. Looked different. Lighter color. I froze when I smelled it and called the store. Tech came up with our ma'am. We haven't filled out that file yet. Every month since last month, I knew. At that moment, someone switched the pills, and there was only one person who it might have been. I asked Evelyn. I tried. Don't worry. Did you touch Tyler's medicine? She laughed. If you're this, maybe you shouldn't be raising that anxious child. Tyler, a boy, began coughing. His lips turned pale, but I didn't notice. I grabbed him, put on a coat, and he went right to the emergency room and passed out. Behind, I told him over and over to stay with me. Just hold on, the nurse told him. From my arms and ran for a few hours. There were blur tests on IVs and monitors. The pill he took wasn't just the wrong medicine. It didn't work well with others. Along with his breathing medicine, if I had waited, even we might have lost if we had waited half an hour longer. I sat next to him while he slept. That hospital bed was white and hooked up to Evelyn showed up at that point. Not even bothered to ask if he was okay. Look at. She looked at me straight in the eye and said, maybe you'll learn now that you're not fit. To become a mother, she said, and she left. I stood there shaking and didn't cry. I picked up the phone and called my brother. He works as a deputy sheriff in a different county. He stays away from family problems. He knew something, though, because he knew my voice was different. And I told him everything paused and then said, you did the right thing. I'll take care of it. What sped up? Next, it made my marriage different, Evelyn's whole family and life. The hospital let us the next morning to take Tyler home, but not for hours on end of. He looked weak, tired, and clingy. I didn't sleep at all. I just laid next to. He saw his chest go up and down. Mark picked us up. He didn't say much on, I thought. He might be mad on the drive. I was wrong when I looked at his mother, too. He told us when we got home. You overreacted. I looked at him in shock. Reacted too quickly. Tyler almost died. He sighed like I was making things up. You didn't even have proof that she switched. The medicine. It might have been a mistake. You want to find someone to blame? I feels like you want what I want. To think your mom did this, I would call the hospital and the cops. My brother, if I wasn't sure. He wasn't sure answer. He left right, away, and I went into the kitchen, where the pill bottle was still there. I took a picture of the drawer after that. I took pictures of the old pill in another bottle with the sticker that says, I got every one of the different pills inside piece of proof I could. My brother I called that afternoon and got a judge to, okay, an emergency order, he said. We'll send someone over. She's leaving. To be taken out of the house, she'll be asked, don't let her get near the kid. Someone made me feel better again, finally paid attention, but Mark didn't take. It worked well when the junior A police officer from our area showed up. Evelyn, my brother, was sitting on the couch reading an old story. She hardly looked up and said, I'm not serious. She laughed when the cop read the order out loud. Mark looked at, I'm mad that you let her do this to me. Mark didn't answer. The deputy told her to get ready. They took her out as she refused. She turned around and came back to me. It was calm and flat. You'll regret this. I didn't. Quickly, I stood in the opening and held Tyler and didn't say anything, but that wasn't the end. After 2 days, Child Protection, a woman with a badge, showed up for help. Came to the door and said, we gotten someone who knows that your son is not getting medical care, she said. She laughed, but it wasn't funny. Went through the house and asked. I looked in the fridge, the medicine cabinet, and the pantry. Had everything I proved that I showed her the hospital. The allergy test records are on release forms. Pics of the pills, and even the text. Evelyn had been rude and mean to me in the past. Little notes telling me I needed to don't treat my kid like he was made of glass. The worker for the CPS left after an hour. She looked sick. That much is clear. This story was an attack, she said. Still, telling my brother about it scared me. He swore out loud. She's trying to get you were found unfit, he said. That's her. Have fun. Mark was asked if he knew about the CPS. He didn't even look at me, Mom. Wouldn't do that. She tried to do it before Mark. She didn't mean to kill him. He yelled, "You don't have proof." I looked at him very carefully, and saw it. He didn't just stand up for her. He believed I slept in Tyler's room that night. Evelyn's car was back the next morning. I ran outside in the yard. Why the hell is she here? Mark stood next to her. To her, she's staying with us. My heart dropped again. She's not let them get close to Tyler. There's an order. She talked to a lawyer and shrugged. I talked about it and looked down at her. A bag was left on the door. I knew I wasn't safe in that moment, my own house anymore, and neither was my son. This is what I put in my bag. Tyler's medicines, clothes, and medical records. I didn't even tell Mark about the pictures. I took the car and went straight to where my brother lives 2 towns over. He and his wife showed us welcome without no doubt. Whatever you need, he replied. That's what they said. We'll protect you. Tyler played with his friends, in case of an emergency protection order, not only against Evelyn, but also against Mark Kuss. I told the judge the whole story. Authorized in 24 hours, then came the what? A surprise! Evelyn's lawyer sent in a plea for grandparent visitation. She said I was trying to turn her off from her, my child, that I was mentally ill and using Tyler to hurt his feelings. I even said I had Munchausen through someone else. I told people he had allergies to get their attention. The meeting was set for 2 weeks ago. Indiana's courts. Scare me, my lawyer told me. Sometimes give grandparents visitation, especially if they can persuade the judge thinks the parent is not healthy. I spent those 2 weeks gathering everything. Emails, thoughts, voicemails for allergy test in hospital. Keeps track of even witness comments from the ER had Tyler's doctor, our nurse, and nurse. But what scared Mark the most turned in a statement on his mother's in their place. He said he had no reason to think his mother was dangerous, said I wasn't stable mentally since the birth and likely to. I was shocked and couldn't believe it. Keep reading those lines over and over. Something inside me broke. He wasn't just protecting her, was with her when she took my son. Got Mark's letter in the mail. I sat down on the floor of the spare room my brother has and shaking. I wasn't even crying. I felt like I'd fallen into a life that wasn't mine, like a stranger. I wore my skin and watched her. His husband helped his mom try to get away. Little kid that weekend, I hired a private police officer. I had no idea what. I was wanting to find just a gut, I told him. Find anything on her. What she doesn't want the judge to do. Let me know in 2 weeks, he said. I've never had 2 weeks that were so long. Tyler asked over and over when we were leaving. I didn't know how to tell my mom that at home. No one was living in the house. We left behind. Not if your husband cheats on you. Not when you don't care about your son's life. A few days before the PI called me to remind me of my court date. This is something you should see in person. We met in a calm parking lot. He gave me a folder behind a diner and Evelyn had a hard drive history. A long time ago, she was adult social services looked into it. Work done in Kentucky for her sister. Accused her of not giving them their medicines, breaking down mentally. It didn't go. Sister was taken to court and moved into help with care, but the case file was, the public could see pictures, records, and notes from a social worker. Then the PI showed me something else. 2 months before she moved in, Evelyn had been kicked out of our house but for black mold, but for being rude and making things unsafe for other renters. She had yelled at a neighbor's kid who has autism and was reported for putting cookies in his bag since he had to act normal. The mother called the cops, which is why she lied about the fact that she had nowhere to go. Mold. I was shocked that Mark hadn't told me. I don't know if he knew or not. Even worse, he ignored it. I gave all of that to my lawyer at Evelyn walked in like she was owned the building for a long time. Beige coat and high shoes. She smiled at the Mark, rate them like they were old friends. Sat next to her. I sat across from them with a stone face. The medical records for Tyler are in one, with one hand on the flash drive and the other on the phone. The judge asked Evelyn what she thought. She should be able to see them. She gave her speech, said I was unstable and angry at her relationship with Tyler and trying to get rid of she was away from her family. She cried, "Real." Then my lawyer said, "You can cry or act." Well, Your Honor, he said, before we even talk about the physical proof and statements from healthcare workers, I'd like to send in paperwork about the petitioner's previous action involving someone who is weak individual. He gave the file to the judge read for a while and then looked up. Eyebrows went up. As for Ms. Wallace, he said, her full name was, "You looked into for putting your sister living in Kentucky in Evelyn's face went cold in 2021. That's not important. It's important." The judge cut her off. "Were you also kicked out of March of this year for acts?" The Mark whispered to a disabled child saying something to her. Her face turned red, spoke slowly. "That was a mistake that I was trying to keep child from bad parenting." The judge, Mark, looked at Mr. Wallace. "Do you think your mom is telling the truth? He changed your child's medicine." Too long of a pause. I don't know what he said lastly, but I doubt she would and meant to hurt him. My lawyer stood. "I'd like to play a message again." He said, I pressed the speaker on my MacBook. It was the one Evelyn gave me 3 days ago before going to the ER. It said, "If should something happen to him, you might stop talking about these fake things. That boy needs a real..." No one spoke in the hall after that. The judge sat back in his chair. The motion to deny visitation was approved. The protective order was renewed for another year. Child will stay with the main guardian. Eva's mother jumped to her feet. "Set up. She's making everyone hate me," Mark grabbed her arm and tried to get her to. She pulled him away from her. Called for security, and they took her there. Out again. But this time the damage wasn't done outside of court, where I was putting Tyler in the car my brother owns, Mark. "You came after me into the parking lot." He said lowly, "I didn't have to do this." He was the person she tried to kill. "Son." He gave me a hollow look. "Put her down," I told her. "You let her. You picked her to hurt this family." Then I looked him straight in the eyes and said, "We're done." Mark was still not sure. He'd be able to walk away clean, protect her, and don't get in trouble for it. But I wasn't done yet. Still, because the PI gave me that folder, it had more to it than Evelyn and Mark didn't want anyone else to find out what's in the box behind the rent papers, and an APS report were, I didn't expect this, a bank sentence, not mine, not Evelyn's, Mark's. It came from an account he didn't tell me about opened 6 months ago. The PI found it while digging. By looking at property and court records, that there were $12,000 in the account. Came from Evelyn's name, but the all withdrawals were recorded. There was then the strongest punch. 2 hotel bills, one in Indianapolis and one in Champaign, Illinois. Mark traveled in the same way every time. Work. Evelyn stayed with us. On both trips, he used a card that was linked to that card to book a hotel room with the same guest signed next to Mark Lynn Holt on the ticket. I didn't know who she was. Brandy worked as a paralegal in the law. The room that Evelyn used for the grandparents, it turned out that Mark had been having since almost a year ago. Evelyn knew she helped him out by watching Tyler while he was away. Told me he was even more motivated to find a real woman when I was going through. she tried to take after giving birth my son. If Mark and I got a divorce, she had full custody and would never see him again. That makes their plan. Look bad for me, not fit, make me snap. They planned to make a case to hold Tyler away and break me, and I almost did it. I sat on that folder. I thought about what to do for 2 weeks. They could have talked to him right then. Yelled, burn it all down. But that wasn't enough for me to want them both to feel, so I came up with a plan. First, I filed for I didn't tell Mark I was getting a divorce. Have the lawyer send the papers to his work with copies of the bank statement, room bills, and a full write him a letter with all the information I would done. But that was only the start. Next, I called Marcy and said I was Evelyn. I knew I heard her right away. Voice for years. Tight, cold cut. I told her what Mark's wife knows about be smart about everything. She freaked out. You can hear it in her voice. Have I hung up? Let her sweat. Then I called the law company where she worked. Worked on and sent all the proof that I told them Marcy had took part in a legal case with a client with whom she was dating with the client's son, who was going with the same company to try and get fighting over child custody interest breach of ethics. They fired the next day. She tried to sue me for harassment. It didn't go very far. Then came Evelyn. I hired a lawyer to fight for putting someone in danger on purpose. Kid. My brother helped me get through it. The hospital keeps track of the pill bottle, the everything. On the voicemail made a picture. It's clear Evelyn tried to throw it. Out didn't work. The court ruled in my favor. She had to pay a $25,000 fine for damages and told they couldn't talk to me or Tyler. Her name is now on a list in the Family Services Directory for our county being called a high-risk guardian. Mark tried to stop the split, but after the papers, when he found out about the affair, I lost. But I got full rights, and Todd Mark was given legal custody of Tyler Mark. Visits with an adult once a month, only in being there with a court-appointed watch. He tried to speak to the judge, turned him down, and fired him after the affair. With his boss, who was an ex-husband of Marcy's close friend, was fired because he moved in with Evelyn or she lost her room. Again, they ended up living on the side of the road. Hotel on the edge of town. I thought she said tried calling every lawyer in the area to sue me, the judge, and the hospital. No one would take her case. I changed the locks and sold the house. Picked up a new one near my brother. Now that Tyler has his own room, we go to he is doing better in treatment and sleeps through the night again. He knows, Mommy, I learned how to protect him and myself. How scary I can be when someone is trying to hurt me. Child. The last time I saw Evelyn, she was bitter small, lost in court. Mark stood in the parking lot of the courthouse asking for a second chance. I didn't even stop walking, because the truth is that you don't get it to put a child in danger. You can't lie to, and hurt the people you loved. You can sometimes get away with it. Needs a little help? And I was happy to send it.